NCD police say charges to be laid after polls. Lay ready to vote tomorrow.
This is an electoral commission operation.
And concerns over delays affecting security in the Highlands region.
This is National EMTV News with Meriba Tulo.
A very good evening. Thank you for joining us for Wednesday's news. National Capital District and Central Province Commander Sylvester Calout said electoral officials and a candidate will be charged after polling on Friday. This follows the detaining of electoral officials yesterday when police found what they say is suspicious cash and documents on them. Adelaide Sirox-Kari was at the media conference this afternoon and has more.
Superintendent Sylvester Calout said this afternoon the NCD election manager Terence Hetinu, along with his deputy Rosin Tobagani, had been detained and interrogated by CID.
Our investigations are still continuing. We are yet to get some more information so that we are placed in a better position to press charges in the near future with regard to what we have discovered as of yesterday. So charges will definitely be laid against those officials that we have interviewed.
Calout says police will take further actions after polling on Friday.
And the election process must happen for NCD, and though individuals are implicated, they must not be associated with the organization, which is the PNG Electoral Commission. And for the police in NCD, we are here to support the PNG Electoral Commission to deliver a peaceful election on Friday.
He said they know of a key witness who will be brought in for questioning.
We have interviewed Mr. Hetinu in relation to that document. We are here to interview one more witness who witnessed the agreement. Once that's done, we will definitely press charges. And again, I want to make sure that the election is not disrupted.
Hetinu was found with 184,300 kina, along with an agreement between him and the candidate.
Well, if the candidate wins, there will be some offers, some rewards.
Yesterday, Electoral Commissioner Patilis Kamato said the money was to be used to pay polling officials.
That was the allegation I received in the morning. Basically, because he was carrying some cash with him to try and sort out the payments for the camping allowances. And so police searched his vehicle and picked up him with a big sum of money. But I'm aware of that. We've made some arrangement to try and organize payments for camping allowances. So he was carrying that cash and police picked him up and searched. They also came and questioned me and I said, yes, I'm aware of the cash he was carrying.
The money is currently with police as evidence, and Calout says the Electoral Commission will have to look for other ways to pay their polling officials.
The money is in police custody with us. Further investigations will be undertaken as well with regard to that money. You know, it's a substantial amount of money being found in possession of election manager. It raises a lot of suspicion and doubts. For this reason, we will do further investigations over that money that we have. Electoral Commission can find money elsewhere to pay for the polling officials. This must not hinder the election process in NCD as well.
Adelaide Sirox-Kari, National EMTV News.
Mosby Northeast MP Labi Amayu and NCD Governor Poes Pakop say allegations of their involvement with the Electoral Commission executive who was detained by police yesterday are false. The executive was found carrying over 180,000 kina in cash and was questioned over the amount. While police investigations are ongoing, the two sitting members of parliament each called a news conference to deny claims linking them on social media.
Mosby Northeast MP Labi Amayu was the first to respond to the allegations pinned on him.
Yes, whatever you heard is all false. It's all being falsified and created just to tarnish my name. It's been a long road from the last 8 weeks that we've started campaigning.
Governor Poes Pakop also responded late this afternoon.
I'm no style by me. I'm no character of me. I, on my part, I want to say this, that I'm confident of winning the election. I know the majority of the people in the city.
Today, NCD police said they are investigating the incident closely.
We have a document with us. We have interviewed Mr. Etino in relation to that document.
The Electoral Commissioner, Patilias Gamato, said the cash belonged to the Commission.
So he was carrying that cash and police picked him up and searched. They also came and questioned me and I said, yes, I'm aware of the cash he was carrying.
Bethany Harriman, National MTV News.
Secretary for the Constitutional Law Reform Commission, Dr. Eric Kwa, says discrepancies in the electoral roll are the reason why it needs to be cleansed and updated. He said the PNG Electoral Commission's efforts in cleansing the roll in the last 12 months have failed. Dr. Kwa said after these elections, the Constitutional Law Reform Commission will approach the Electoral Commission to discuss linking the population census to the electoral roll.
We need to review the process and understand all these issues and hopefully fix it up before the 2022 elections.
Dr. Kwa was on MTV's Your Vote 2017 program last night talking about issues arising from the national general election. One of the main issues was the electoral roll, with many eligible voters missing out on their constitutional right to vote. While Dr. Kwa said it was unacceptable to be using the 2012 preliminary roll together with the updated one, he urged voters to go ahead and vote because the elections must go on. Dr. Kwa said the Constitution does not say anything about what is to happen to those eligible voters whose names are not on the roll. He said after these elections, the process needs to be fixed.
I have held a strong view against the common roll, and I have suggested and we've tried it at the Constitutional Law Reform Commission to tie in the issue of the population census against the common roll. I've been saying that all along, that when you do a population census, can you also update the common roll? Because the population census happens a couple of years before the elections. And so we have tried to fix the law. The law now allows that to happen. But unfortunately, in the last couple of years that we've been trying to talk to Mr. Trawan, or Seth Trawan, it hasn't worked out. And so I'm hoping that after these elections, we can talk to Commissioner Gamato and see how we can link that. So we don't have to waste time and money trying to update the common roll when there is a population census that counts everybody in the country and they go by household by household.
Dr. Kwa said the Constitutional Law Reform Commission is now reviewing all the election petitions, looking at all the loopholes in the current organic law on the national and local level government elections. He said they are ready to talk to the Electoral Commissioner Patilias Gamato after the elections to seriously look at all the gaps in the law and fix them. Deli Waigeno, National, MTV News.
Whilst polling in most parts of the country is underway, residents in Lae will be looking forward to polling tomorrow. In a joint press conference held by the Lae Police and the Provincial Electoral Office at the Lae Metropolitan Command, both parties indicate confidence in delivering the one-day polling process. Lae Metropolitan Commander, Chief Superintendent Anthony Wagambi, says Lae Police are ready to support the Electoral Commission to conduct peaceful, free and safe polling tomorrow.
Polling for most parts of the country has already begun. For Lae City, residents will be voting tomorrow. The one-day poll for Lae will be as scheduled, and both police and the Provincial Electoral Office will be partnering to conduct the process.
I must make it clear that the security forces are not here to conduct the elections. This is an electoral commission operation. We are here to support in providing security to the people and to the polling officials.
In a press conference today, the Lae Metropolitan Commander, Chief Superintendent Anthony Wagambi Jr. says police will be providing security to 116 polling teams.
If you see anything that's happening, any foul play, whatever, call us, call the police, use our Facebook page, alert us if you have pictures, send it to us so we can act on it quickly.
Election Manager Simon Saheke is urging Lae residents to take ownership of the polling and cooperate with officials.
And I am appealing to everyone, all those stakeholders, candidates, voters, to vote wisely and all the candidates to work together.
Despite negative reports of the Electoral Commission in other parts of the country, electoral officers in the province are working to ensure polling in Lae and Morobe is conducted with transparency. Lucy Kopana, National EMTV News, Lae.
At the Lae District Office, final preparations are being done to prepare for an early start. The returning officer for Lae says they are on schedule and expect to be at polling stations as early as 5 a.m.
It has never been this busy in the Lae District Office in 5 years. This afternoon, the conference room was packed to capacity as presiding officers prepared materials for the polling tomorrow.
We are getting in presiding officers now to check their respective boxes to go out on the field. They have checked. For I is complete from Ward 1 to 12, and we have them up there.
160 teams will be sent to polling locations all over the city. It's a massive task that is expected to be completed by the day's end tomorrow. When all the packing inside has been done, this building will be locked down tonight and guarded overnight by members of the PNG Defence Force. As early as 5 a.m. tomorrow, polling teams are expected to be at their locations to wait for voters to arrive.
So once they are satisfied, we lock them up. We are ready to go to the polls in the morning. We arrive here at 5 o'clock in the morning and we go out on the field.
But the Lae operation isn't going to be without problems. This afternoon, the election manager for Lae said they expect complaints about the electoral rolls. They're using the 2017 rolls, which they admit has flaws in them. Scott Waide, National EMTV News, Lae.
Here with National EMTV News, we'll check out polling in Simbu and East New Britain after the break. Stay tuned. Welcome back to National EMTV News. Simbu Province had 2 days polling, which started yesterday and ended this afternoon. Karamui, Nomane and Truave open seats successfully completed the polling yesterday. Polling for Simbu was deferred from Monday due to issues with the electoral roll. Vasinata Yama with this report.
Provincial Election Steering Committee Chairman Joe Kunda says it took more time because of irregularities with the ballot papers and the electoral roll. Despite this, Simbu Province saw peaceful and smooth-running polling for 2 days. Kunda says stamping of the ballot papers took them 2 days to complete, which saw polling today. The 2 electorates which successfully completed yesterday were Chuave and Karamui Nomane open seats. The ballot boxes were dispatched on Monday afternoon, which allowed them to go to polls yesterday.
After our consultation with them, after we had realized that the rolls that were sent to us were all full of discrepancies, and when we consulted them, and that is why it took us 2 days or something to communicate and have a dialogue with headquarters, and we're very appreciative of the fact that they've given us the approval to go ahead and use the preliminary roll.
The 4 electorates in Simbu which go to the polls today are Gumini, Sinesine Yongomul, Kundiawa Gambok and Kerawagi. Polling started at 8 a.m. today and ended this afternoon. All the electorates in Simbu were advised to use the preliminary roll to vote after encountering issues with the electoral roll update.
It's happening in Kerawagi, it's happening in Gumini, it's happening in Kundiawa Gambok, it's happening in Sinesine Yongomul, it's happening all across the province. So it's not one particular LLG or it's not one particular electorate. It's happening all across the province. So the PNG EC headquarter people will agree with us that the printed roll has definite discrepancies across the province. So not one particular electorate or no one particular LLG.
On Monday, electoral officials discovered extra ballot papers from the ballot boxes for each electorate in Simbu. Police have destroyed over 2,000 inflated ballot papers for the Chuave open seat and another 1,000 more for the 5 other electorates. The destroyed papers were higher than the total number of eligible voters. Vasinata Yama, National EMTV News, Mount Hagen.
Western Highlands Province Election Manager Philip Tilape is concerned the delay and deferring of polling in other provinces might affect the movement of security personnel. Mr. Tilape says Western Highlands is ready for polling on July the 4th. However, security might be an issue. A pre-count of all the ballot papers will commence tomorrow.
Telape's biggest fear is the delay in the movement of security personnel for the Highlands region. The joint security personnel deployed to provide security in the Highlands have 3 phases or 3 sets of dates that needed to be completed in a certain province before moving to another province. One phase is to attend the one-day polling for Eastern Highlands, Simbu and Hela before changing route to Jiwaka and Southern Highlands this Friday for its polling, and finally to Wabek and Western Highlands Province for its polling next Tuesday.
Delay bakamablo movement of security by suppose delay or not the province by affecting me also.
So far, Hela Province successfully completed its polling yesterday, including some electorates in Simbu and Eastern Highlands Province. The 3 provinces were scheduled for polling on Monday, but this did not happen. There were discrepancies on the electoral roll and ballot papers, which forced the deferring of polling in these areas to Tuesday and today. Provincial Election Manager Philip Telapes says other issues most likely to affect polling in the province are the delay in printing of checks for the officials' allowances.
Maybe processing some payments or allowances for polling officers where people got plenty blackout lag, and so the processing of checks are taking very slow. So it's only those 2 areas that we might delay or maybe postpone to the next day for the pollings. Otherwise, if this law something I'm right, I'm not posted July 4th.
The pre-counting of ballot papers and cross-checking of names will start tomorrow. Training of polling officials will start tomorrow, depending on the readiness of 4 returning officers in the province. The Provincial Steering Committee is ready to conduct polling on July 4th. Vasenata Yama, National EMTV News, Mount Hagen.
And now a look at the finance news. The Kina closed unchanged at $0.3145 in the interbank market. At Bank South Pacific, your Kina was buying $0.307, $0.4019 Australian dollars, €0.2676 and 34.14 Japanese yen. Looking at commodity prices at New York close, gold, coffee and cocoa closed higher, while copper closed the day lower. Palm oil closed higher, while crude oil and copper closed the day lower. And on the stock markets, the Dow Jones closed 98 points lower, the ASX closed 37 points higher, and the All Ordinaries closed 39 points higher. You're watching National EMTV News. Coming up, polling also in the autonomous region of Bougainville. That's after these messages. Stay tuned. Welcome back to National EMTV News. In East New Britain Province, a scrutineer was stabbed to death on Monday. East New Britain Provincial Police Commander, Senior Inspector Joseph Tabali, has confirmed the death as election-related. PPC Tabali did not comment further, but says his men are investigating the incident. The stabbing happened at Malmal in the Bitapaka LLG on the outskirts of Kokopo town. Still in East New Britain Province, voters without names on the updated common roll remained relatively calm, although they won't be able to cast their vote in this election. In polling sites all over the province, voters walked calmly out of the polling area when they were told by polling officials that their names were not on the common roll. Most of them are old people who have voted in the 2012 elections that have found their names missing in this year's election. They say they will have to wait for another 5 long years to update their names before they can cast their votes again. They appeal to the Electoral Commission office to visit every ward in the country and do awareness on the common roll update before the next election. A team from the United States Embassy in Port Moresby are in East New Britain Province as election observers. Beverly Thacker and Cyril Akwani arrived in Kokopo today to observe the flow of polling. At a media conference today, team leader Beverly Thacker says they hope their presence in the province would assist in delivering a safe and transparent election.
We're just part of a group of diplomatic observers who are going around the country. Our biggest role is to help ensure transparency and that the rules are followed. The theory behind it is that if the polling, if the politicians, if the electoral people know that there are international observers going to show up, they don't know when, we don't have a schedule, we can be anywhere, anytime, that they're more apt to follow the rules all the time because they don't know when somebody's going to show up to be watching. So.
Turning overseas now, Russia has condemned America's warning to the Syrian government over more chemical weapon attacks. The White House has accused the regime of planning new attacks and say President Bashar al-Assad will pay a heavy price if anything happens.
Inside the Oval Office today, cameras invited in to see the president and members of his national security team.
Congratulations on your great victory.
Huddled for a phone call with the Prime Minister of Ireland. No mention of Syria or that ominous late-night statement from the White House press secretary saying the United States has identified potential preparations for another chemical weapons attack. Sean Spicer warning if Mr. Assad conducts another mass murder attack using chemical weapons, he and his military will pay a heavy price.
The goal is at this point not just to send Assad a message, but to send Russia and Iran a message that if this happens again, we are putting you on notice.
The Pentagon now pointing to that chemical attack in April. More than 80 innocent civilians killed, many of them children.
And I will tell you that attack on children yesterday had a big impact on me. Big impact.
The U.S. retaliated with a missile strike on an airfield, the very spot where U.S. officials now believe preparations for another chemical attack are underway. The Syrian government quick to dismiss the allegations. But from Bashar al-Assad today, a display of military might. New video showing him climbing into the cockpit of a Russian warplane. And now Russia is condemning the new warning from the White House as unacceptable.
Google has been fined more than $3.7 billion after it was found guilty by the European Commission for prioritizing its own products over rivals in its searches. The tech giant says it will be considering an appeal into the decision.
They're the new masters of the universe. Google's products have changed our lives forever. But today the company was brought down to earth in the Brussels headquarters of the European Commission. After a 7-year investigation into Google's business practices, Commissioner Margrethe Vestager delivered a brutal verdict.
Google has abused its market dominance as a search engine by giving illegal advantages to another Google product, its shopping comparison service.
Kelku is one of the companies that brought the case. It says Google needs to be reined in.
It said, right, I'm going to take over this marketplace and I'm going to demote you all and put myself at the top of the listings. Anti-competitive. They can't do that when they have a 90% share in general search. They use that power, and that's wrong.
Your products are online in a format that shows shoppers you've got exactly what they're looking for.
Google said it respectfully disagreed with the decision and would take the 90 days granted by the Commission to find a solution. For years now, European officials have been itching to subject tech giants to fresh regulation. But over in Silicon Valley, many leading innovators believe social problems usually have a technological rather than legal solution.
There are two very different worldviews, America and Europe, and they have very different attitudes on competition, on access to data, even on very fundamental things like the profit motive and whether it's a good thing or not.
Okay, Google, turn on the hall lights.
Through remarkable innovation and engineering, Google has become integral to our daily routines. This record fine is a reminder that it is at base an advertising company which uses our personal data to sell us things. If you don't like the search results, well, there's always Yahoo.
Global companies, government and state power and transport systems have been targeted by a massive cyber attack. The ransomware virus has caused major disruptions in Ukraine, even infiltrating the Chernobyl power plant. The hackers responsible are freezing computers and demanding money before encrypted files are freed.
The first signs came in Ukraine. Systems went down this morning. Some people trying to take money out of bank machines found they couldn't. Even the radiation monitoring system at the Chernobyl nuclear plant was briefly taken offline. The scale was enormous.
We had there where we spread
cyber virus on the transport, bank, media, infrastructure of Ukraine, in government and in the corporative sectors as well.
But during the day, it became clear that the problem was not contained in Ukraine, but was spreading. Reports came in of companies affected from Russia across Europe to the UK and also the US. Those affected included oil producers, shipping and pharmaceutical companies, and a London-based advertising group. They were all faced with a screen like this, telling them they'd been locked out of their computer and needed to pay a ransom to get back in. Computer systems which have not been upgraded or patched are usually the most vulnerable. Today's ransomware has some similarities, but is not the same as that which struck the NHS last month. Experts say the new attack in some ways is more sophisticated, but the aim is still to make money.
Well, ransomware is very effective because attackers can sit at home in the comfort of their own living room, somewhere possibly on the other side of the world, and mount these attacks with very low risk to themselves and very high upside. In many cases, they'll make hundreds of thousands of dollars out of an attack like this.
Back home, and the autonomous region of Bougainville has reported a smooth start to polling. Despite issues with the voter roll, this did not affect the polls. Fabian Hakelitz files this report from Buka.
Polling in the autonomous region of Bougainville began peacefully on Monday with no major incidents recorded. In North Bougainville, some voters complained about the names not on the electoral roll, but they believed this was a problem to be fixed by the PNG Electoral Commission, considering the ABG elections preliminary roll was available for use. However, little encounter was with AG-group candidates in Central and South Bougainville protesting over eligible voters' names not on the voter roll. The island's President Chief John Momis was also frustrated with the electoral roll and will later release a statement. Acting Election Manager Desmond Timiaso has confirmed that Electoral Commissioner Patilos Gamato has now authorized the use of preliminary roll as supplementary to complement the current working roll. Meanwhile, EMTV News will provide more updates on the 2017 national general elections. In Buka, Fabian Hakelitz, National EMTV News.
As part of the security operations for this year's national elections, the Bougainville Police Service is on full alert of extra ballot boxes claimed and believed to be surfacing around the country. North Sub-Commander of the Bougainville Police Service, Kingsley Lua, told EMTV News in Buka that although these are rumors, police will act upon any given information to ensure a safe, free and fair election. Lua says they want to maintain the integrity of the autonomous region of Bougainville to deliver a successful election over time. And up next, we get some sporting updates in Trukai Sports. Don't go away.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome to Trukai Sports. We begin with Rugby League. The SP-PNG Hunters will play 2 home matches before their next bye in round 19. They play the Central Queensland Capras before going up against the Burleigh Bears next weekend.
The Hunters will play this weekend's match without centre Adex Wera. Wera is suffering from a rib injury. Willie Minoga will move in to play in the centres in place of the injured Wera. Vice-captain Wellington Albert is back in the team after a 1-match suspension by the Queensland Rugby League. Brandy Peter, who has been fighting to get back into the team, will get a start this weekend when he runs on in his accustomed role as prop. Blander Bavo will retain the fullback position after having an exceptional match last week, while Stagroth Amin has been moved to the wings. This is the second time the SP Hunters will face the Capras. The Hunters beat them 20-16 in the season opener in Brisbane earlier this year. The 12th place Capras arrive in Port Moresby on Saturday for the 3 p.m. game on Sunday at the National Football Stadium. Elijah Levet, National EMTV Sports.
To boxing, PNG's light welterweight boxer Henry Ume has qualified for the next stage of the after beating Australia's Daniel Hayes. Ume is the first to qualify for Team PNG and will face Nauru's Colin Caleb. In other bouts, PNG's Talamoni Kami and Andrew Aisaga lost their respective bouts yesterday. Beupu Noki will enter the ring tonight in the 56 kg division against Australia's Sam Goodman. The Oceania Boxing Championships continues with the finals to be held tomorrow. Trukai Sports continues after these messages. Don't go away.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome back to Trukai Sports. The global soccer body, FIFA, said on Tuesday it has decided to publish the Garcia report into the decision to award the 2018 and 2022 World Cups to Russia and Qatar, respectively. FIFA placed a link to the report on its website and said its decision was made after the report, compiled by its former chief ethics investigator, Michael Garcia, in 2014, was illegally leaked to a German newspaper.
Garcia, who is now an associate judge at the Court of Appeals for the State of New York, spent 18 months and interviewed 75 witnesses as he investigated the convoluted bidding process for the two tournaments. His report was not published, but instead handed to the then FIFA ethics judge Hans-Joachim Eckert, who issued a 42-page summary which said there was not enough evidence to reopen the bidding process. Garcia publicly criticized Eckert's summary and resigned 1 month later in December 2014. FIFA then agreed the report could be published once all investigations against individuals had been completed. FIFA's situation took a dramatic turn in 2015 when several dozen football officials were indicted on corruption-related charges in the United States, while the Swiss Attorney General's office opened a criminal investigation into the award. FIFA President Sepp Blatter was later banned for 6 years following an internal ethics investigation. Jeremy Moggi, National TV Sports.
Still on football, Portugal will face Copa America champions Chile in the semi-final of the Confederations Cup after topping Group A on a goal difference. Portuguese team coach Fernando Santos and midfielder Adrian Silva at a news conference before the match with Chile said they are one step away from lifting the trophy.
Portugal's national team has said they are ready to make history and to win their first Confederations Cup. Portuguese coach Fernando Santos said at the news conference in the Russian city of Kazan on the eve of semi-final against Chile.
It's semi-final. Is it more tense? No. The team is ready. It is not the first time we're going through the knockout stage, so we are very willing to play tomorrow and to once again make history for Portugal.
European champions Portugal comfortably dispatched New Zealand 4-0 to reach the Confederations Cup semi-finals last Saturday after Cristiano Ronaldo set them on their way with a penalty. Chile reached the Confederations Cup semi-finals on Sunday with a 1-1 draw against Australia, who muscled the South Americans out of their stride but exceeded the tournament after wasting their chances. Chile came second in the group with 5 points, 2 behind Germany and 3 ahead of Australia in third. Shane Soroya, National EMTV Sports.
And that ends Trukai Sports. Up next, your weather details for the next 24 hours. Stay tuned.
Trukai Sports. Trukai Sports.
Welcome back to National EMTV News. Right now we cross over to Kokopo, and joining us live is East New Britain Provincial Police Commander, Senior Inspector Joseph Tabali. Chief, a very good night to you. I hope all is well in East New Britain. Apart from the recent stabbing of a scrutineer that we've had a report on the news earlier this evening, how is the election police operations going on in East New Britain Province?
Yes, despite the stabbing of the scrutineer at Marmar Village on the 22nd last week, Thursday. Despite that, the polling in the entire region is running smoothly.
All right. And are there any other issues relating to manpower shortage in the province? Are there adequate security in the polling venues in the province?
I have no problem with the security personnel. I've got 528 security personnel consisting of 60 public servants, ex-defense force officers, CS officers, and police, supporting my regular members. They have already been deployed in the 4 districts in the province.
Okay, now what about allowances? There have been some problems with allowances for officers in other parts of the country. Have you faced this sort of situation in East New Britain?
Yes, East New Britain has been affected as well, but last Friday, late in the afternoon, allowances has been paid into the respective personal accounts by police headquarters. But at the moment, right, I'm talking to you right now, about 18 security personnel have not been paid allowances. I've sent the list to the police headquarters national office, and they're looking at it.
All right, thank you so much, PPC Senior Inspector Joseph Tabali from Kokopo, East New Britain Province. Now we'll take a look at the weather for the next 24 hours.
The weather details are proudly brought to you by Dulux Weather Shield, worth doing with Dulux.
A look at the weather in the southern region. Port Moresby, cloudy with some stormy weather expected. Some showers and storms for Kerma and Alotau. Cloudy with some showers expected in Popondetta. Cloudy and windy in Daru. All across the region, 31 degrees. To the Momasa region, cloudy with some storms expected for Lae. Heavy rain in Wau. Showers and some storms expected in Madang, Wewak and Vanimo, a top of 31 as well. To the New Guinea Islands region, showers expected in Kavieng, Kokopo and Rabaul. Cloudy weather with some showers in Kimbe. Cloudy with storms in Buka. Cloudy with some storms as well for Lorengau, Manus Province. And to the Highlands region, Mount Hagen, Goroka, Kundiawa, Mendi and Wabeg. All these major centers can expect some showers and storms over the next 24 hours. So look at the forecast for small ships for the next 24 hours. But first, there is a strong wind warning current for all coastal waters of southern PNG Indonesian border through Torres Strait and Daru to Kiwai Island, to Kerma, Yule Island, Hood Point, Samurai Island, including Milne Bay and its islands, to Finchafen, through Vitia Strait, Dampier Strait, Siasi Island, Long Island, to West New Britain and Manus. Waters of southern PNG Indonesian border through Torres Strait and Daru to Kiwai Island, to Kerma, Yule Island, Hood Point, with waters of eastern and western Milne Bay Islands, and with waters of Finchafen through Vitia Strait, Dampier Strait, including Siasi Islands, to Long Island, seas 2.5 to 3 meters. Waters east of Hood Point to Samurai Island, with waters of Cape Vogel to Finchafen and waters of Manus and its western group of islands, seas 2 to 2.5 meters.
The weather details are proudly brought to you by Dulux Weather Shield, worth doing with Dulux.
Now, before we go, we join Tekla Gunga, who will bring us an update on the election so far in Kerma, Gulf Province. Tekla, very good evening. What can you tell us?
Good evening, Meriba. I'm here in Kerma town. We arrived at 5:30 when polling was just concluding. This is the 4th day for polling in Kerma town. Other areas in Kerma town, polling did not start. We were able to speak to the election manager, and he told us that they faced some logistics challenges, and because of that, the ballot papers arrived late. For Kaintiba and Kikori, they are planning to conduct their polling tomorrow. Meriba?
All right. Thank you very much, Tekla Gunga. That was Tekla giving us an update on polling in Kerma. In a few moments, we'll also speak with Marilyn Diaukatam to give us an update on elections in Kairukuhiri district.
Polling commenced in some places, such as Brown River, in other places as Kriva and Berena. It will continue for the next days. The place has been very peaceful. There's been police presence in the electorate. Back to you, Maribel.
All right, thank you so much, Marilyn Diakotam. That was Marilyn with an update on voting in the Kairukuhiri district. Now that brings us to the end of National MTV News for tonight. Happy birthday to MTV, 30 years, #1 to watch. On behalf of the news team, pleasant viewing. Stay tuned for Neville Troy and Titi Gabi on Your Vote 2017 up next.